kid, I'm hurrying through. I'm going to Michigan to seek my sweeter Hey, 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 hey,
We got Tico when he was, what, 7 years old? And he was still a gray horse. So he's showing a lot of wisdom these days. I'm going to come on down this end. I might get out of the range of the microphones. We'll let everybody take a look at him.
Don't do that, Doug.
Now, if I was a cowboy in the morning, I could probably get on this horse with my cup of coffee and not spill a drop. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that's an idea about Tico and Pasofinos. Our next show or exhibitor is going to be Whitney, who's showing Leaper. So Whitney, are you about ready? Arabian Western Pleasure, Since the Age of 3 by Penny Watkins and her daughters, Whitney and Wendy. Leaper is being presented this evening by Whitney Stewart. Horses in this class at a horse show are shown at a walk, jog, and lope, both ways in the ring. The horse is judged on how steady he holds his head and how well he executes the gaits the judge requests. Here's a lope. A lope is a nice, relaxed, 3-beat gait. The walk should be a true walk, covering ground, but not breaking into a jog. Now this is a jog, or also known as a slow trot. It should be slow and relaxed, and the rider should not bounce in the saddle. This is a good working gait. You could stay in that jog all day. Now I broke into or was asked to go into a lope here. Notice the 3-beat gait. The transitions going into each gait should be very smooth. In a show ring, the horse is asked to repeat all 3 gaits going each direction. After the workout, the horses are asked to line up, stand quietly, and then back readily. Leaper was shown throughout the United States and Canada with wins at the national and regional level. In his prime, Leaper won over $18,000 in prize winnings. He's now 22 and has been retired from the big-time shows, but still shows in smaller shows in Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio in lead line and walk trot. Tonight, Abby Stewart, who is 4 years old, is showing you how she rides with her mother. Her mother is leading in a lead line class. The riders and those who are leading the horse usually dress the same. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
All right, what a great cowboy salute. A cowgirl salute. I'm so sorry. Now, the lead line classes, typically everybody wins in a lead line class. Everybody gets a blue ribbon. And I can sure see why Abby would get a blue ribbon tonight. I had a chance to talk to Abby a little bit before the show. She came up and she petted my dog, who's kind of a fearful dog. And my dog just looked at her and wagged her tail. And it was clear to me that Abby is a real animal person. And I asked her about that. And she told me that she's got 2 dogs and some horses, and they all like her.
And so do we.
Well, Abby, thank you so much for showing this evening. It was a real pleasure to watch you ride.
That's a horse.
All right, please welcome Allison Whistler, who's working with Watson. Watson is a 12-year-old miniature horse. Watson currently lives at Hartmeyer Stables, and he loves learning more about how to become a better cart horse. He likes to play with children, and of course, he likes to eat grass. I've often wondered if city regulations would permit you to have one of these instead of a lawnmower inside the city limits. Watson's doing some special training. You may have heard of the Spur Therapeutic Riding Program that's here in Muncie. Therapeutic riding is where you work with people who have certain physical issues and or possibly mental issues, and they get out on horses, develop some confidence, and they really have a good time. So Watson's in training for that Spur Therapeutic Riding Program. Their goal is for him to be able to pull a cart with kids that are unable to ride on horses. Allison, thank you very much. Watson, you're a charming little guy. Oh, buddy. Oh. Doug and Lene Spence of Selma, Indiana, are the proud owners of these 2 Welsh ponies, being driven by Lene as a tandem. 17-year-old Alfie is the wheeler, and 15-year-old Bert is the leader. They are full brothers and have been with Doug and Lene for about 2 years. The boys have been driven as a pair for 15 years by the previous owner, who drove them well into her 80s. In the past year and a half, Alfie and Bert introduced both Lene and Doug to pair driving. And now they're trying something new with tandem driving. This is only the 12th time that the boys have been hitched tandem, and the 9th time Lene has ever driven tandem. So please forgive them for any blunders. A tandem hitch is where two horses are driven with one in front of the other, not side by side as with a pair. The wheeler pulls the carriage, and the leader is the horse in front. It's very difficult to drive a tandem. With a four in hand, or four horses, two pairs, you always have a chance that at least one of the horses in the lead will go where you want it to, and the other horse will then follow suit. With a tandem, the horse in the front must be an extraordinary individual. In a tandem hitch, there's no load on the lead horse unless they're going uphill. It's the wheel horse, the one between the shafts, who does all the work. The horse out front really needs to be a well-trained driving horse, independent and forward. For as long as he's going forward, you can steer him with your reins. It's very difficult to drive a tandem if the lead horse is insecure out front. In a tandem hitch, the driver holds the reins just as you would hold them when driving a four-in-hand. The reins from the lead horse pass through a ring on each side of the wheel horse. Now, did you know that you can drive with one or two hands? The single-handed method is where the left hand holds all four reins. The right hand is free for the gentleman to tip his hat or the lady to salute with her whip. When driving, the whip is one of the most important aids that a driver has for communicating with his horse. Because the driver's only aids are voice, hands, and whip skills are imperative when driving tandem. Although many historians differ on exactly when, why, and where the art of driving tandem originated, it is certain that it became popular in the 19th century in England as a means of getting out into the countryside for an organized hunt. The lead horse would be in an open bridle and saddle, ready to ride upon arrival, fresh for the rigors of chasing the hounds, after the hounds. Many also believe that the principle behind driving tandem is quite simply a means for the horseman to show off his exceptional driving skills. Lene does have a third party at home and hopes to have the three ponies hooked in a unicorn hitch the next year. The Spences are lifetime members of the American Driving Society and longtime members of the Carriage Association of America and Indiana Whips and Wheels. Indiana Whips and Wheels supports the Indiana driving community with educational and recreational driving opportunities, as well as putting on the Indiana Combined Driving event each Labor Day for 26 years, drawing driving competitors from all over the United States. Lene is decked out in pink today to promote breast cancer awareness. Lene and two of her sisters are breast cancer survivors and hope to inspire women to stay diligent in their own health care and the importance of education and early detection. Lene was introduced to carriage driving in the late 1980s by Barb Rudisell, owner of Raintree Morgan's of Muncie, where she bought her late Morgan gelding, Tanmore's Flash Dancer, or Dan. In the early 2000s, Lene and Dan received many pleasure driving and combined driving championships throughout the United States and Canada, including 2 world titles and a gold medal as the North American single horse driving champion. Lene is driving her ponies to a Kutzman-Hanna marathon carriage, and the tandem harness is a modern synthetic Zilko harness, both very popular in the driving sport of combined driving. Casey Creek is the wheeler. Oh, pardon me. Casey Creek is the navigator. Forgive me, Casey. There's a big difference between a wheeler and a navigator. Thank you, Lene and Casey.
Good show.
FF Tuscaro Bay is a purebred Arabian gelding. He is being presented tonight by his owner, Penny Watkins. Tuscaroo, or Tusk as he is called by his family, has a remarkable show record, and you can see why. He's a beautiful example of what is the ideal Arabian horse should look like. The Arabian horse is unparalleled in beauty, has a rich history, and the unique ability to bond with his owners. From the ancient deserts of the Middle East evolved the oldest known breed of horse. It is a fact that all breeds of horse have some Arabian blood. In the harsh desert condition, the Arabian evolved large lungs capacity and incredible endurance. The severe climate required the nomads to share food and water, and most times even their tents with their horses. As a result, Arabian horses developed a close affinity to man and high intelligence. The nature of the breed, oh buddy, come on. The nature of the breed, its shape as well as its color, was influenced by religious beliefs of ancient tribes. It was believed that the bulging forehead held the blessings of Allah. Therefore, the greater the width between the eyes and the nicer the dish was a sign of courage. The great arching neck with a high crest was a sign of courage. Yes. All right. Okay. These traits were held in high esteem and selectively bred for. Historical figures like Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and George Washington all rode Arabians. Today's Arabian breed is a popular breed with incredible energy, intelligence, and gentle disposition, which allows riders to excel in most equine sports and activities. Tuscaroo has all the characteristics of an ideal Arabian. He has a chiseled head with a small muzzle, a thin throat latch, a long arched neck that goes nicely into his withers, a long sloping shoulder, a short back, a large chest, level croup, and high tail carriage. Tusk was shown in registered Arabian halter open and amateur at the regional and national level. This horse was named 2008 and 2009 Scottsdale Champion Gelding, which is one of the largest Arabian shows in the nation. He was also named the 2008 Canadian and United States Reserve National Champion Gelding in both the open class, shown by a professional, and Canadian and United States Reserve National Champion Gelding amateur owner to handle. In 2009, Tusk was awarded both Canadian and U.S. Reserve National Champion Gelding amateur owner to handle. What a beautiful horse.
Tell me, just see the most beautiful horse in the world.
Willow is a 2-year-old black Shire filly, 2 years old. Eli is a 3-month bay Shire stud colt. Both were reserve grand champions at the Ohio State Fair this year. So what is the Shire? The Shire horse traces back to the English Great Horse, and the Great Horse in turn to the Flemish horse brought to England during the 12th century. These Flemish horses were noted for their size and for color and markings, similar to what we think of as a typical Shire. Such horses have been used both on the continent and in the British Isles as war horses. But as England became a world power whose wars took place far from the island, the Shire became more of a farm and commercial horse. During the 1800s, vast quantities of goods were shipped both to and from English ports. The Shires contributed dramatically to the movement of these goods. At the same time, farming developed a need for strong, docile horses which could work the fields of either the flat, marshy fen counties or drier Yorkshire and Lancashire. The stockmen of Britain selected the Shire to fill those needs, as well as those of the markets of Liverpool and London. With the ever-increasing mechanization of the 20th century, the Shire and other heavy breeds easily could have been allowed to die out. But fortunately, there's been a great revival of interest in these magnificent animals. No show class is more popular with spectators than those of the heavies. Shires still work the land in some parts of the country, and several brewers use them to pull drays in the city streets. Today, the Shire horse is enjoyed in all types of riding, driving, and draft work. It is making its mark as a competitor in all levels of dressage and carriage driving events across North America. As of today, there's about 3,000 registered Shires in the world. Richard, when will that horse stop growing? So it's a 2-year-old now. It's got to grow until it's 5. How many pounds will an adult be? Over a ton. Okay, he says Willow will grow to be 18 hands, which is, a hand is 4 inches. So who's good at math? Is that 72 inches?
Right.
I'm 74 inches. So that horse at the withers here would be 74 inches, 72 inches. That's a lot of hay. Less than a Holstein cow? Well, all right. Well, thank you for showing us those Shires. Oh, I think I spooked him with in the AQHA World Show in 2013 and 2014. So they've got some show, what's the word I'm looking for? Some show credentials as well as being good working horses. They qualified in heading, heeling, and tie-down calf roping. Ridden by Jody Thompson. J.D. Streakin Drifter is the 2008 Dun Roan Stallion Big Hoss, or nicknamed Big Hoss. He's ranked 12th in the world in tie-down calf roping in 2013. He ranked 5th in high points in heading, 8th in heeling, and 8th in tie-down calf roping. He earned his Register of Merit in Performance and is superior in heading and heeling. He's been ridden by rodeo greats Joe Beaver, Fred Whitfield, and Shane Hanchey. They've got proven performance bloodlines and a total of 148.5 AQHA points. And we've also got Tivo's Salty Dog, or Cimarron. Cimarron is ridden by Dave Markley. Cimarron is a real ranch horse. He's used daily to work cattle and the Running M Ranch. He's versatile. He'll go anywhere and do anything. Dave was telling me that the sheriff's department often calls him out at all hours of the night or day to help retrieve cattle that have got loose. He says that horse, if he can get a loop around a cow's neck, that horse can pull the cow into the branding pen. He says he'll go into creeks, do whatever he tells him to do. Now you saw how good Tico did with just a horse cantering around. Tico's not at all well suited for that, is he? Cimarron is a 96% foundation bred quarter horse. So that's going back to the original bloodlines. Many quarter horses will have a little bit of thoroughbred in them for size and speed. So he's a bit of a smaller, a good working horse. We also have out here My Own Bo Peep, or Bo, ridden by Trina Resendez. Bo is a finished cutting horse and a barrel horse. You've probably seen the barrel horses where the horses go charging around the barrels and cut impossibly tight circles around them, and it's all for speed. She's also used on the ranch to move cattle. Bo is in the top 15 in barrel racing in Indiana in 2013. These horses have been on the cover of multiple magazines, including Cowboy Times, Horse Resource, Horse Digest, and Working Horse. Takes a lot of training to get horses to this level. Now these are skills that the horses are picking up. But when they're out there working the cows, these skills are only part of it. It takes a certain amount of instinct and a partnership between the rider and the horse. That rider's got to see what's coming up, and the horse has to see it too. He's got to anticipate the commands of what that cow is going to do. Dave says these horses oftentimes will have a saddle put on at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they'll be working all day. All right. Dave, Trina, and Jody, thank you very much. Beautiful horses. Liz is a third-year veterinary student at Iowa State University. She grew up in Muncie and loves coming back in town to visit family and ride as many horses as she can. Allison is currently teaching at Anderson Schools and also teaches riding lessons based out of Hartmeyer Stables. Liz is riding an 11-year-old halflinger named Scotty, and Allison is riding an 11-year-old halflinger cross named Hans. The goal of show jumping is to complete a set course of jumping obstacles without knocking down any of the obstacles, cross rails, or poles. In competition, knocking down a rail causes you to gain penalty points. So ideally, you want to leave all the jumps standing. We've set up a few jumps in front of you today, and with any luck, both Allison and Liz will be able to jump over all of them without knocking down any rails. Well, that concludes our program for this evening. I'd like to thank you all for coming out. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much to all of our exhibitors this evening. We know it was some effort for you all to get out here. And we thank you for sharing your horses and your passion and your love with us. I'd like to thank Westminster for the facilities, and I'd like to thank my dad for putting this together each year. Thank you, Dad.
We're going to see Saturday. There you go. No, wait.
Come on, Bubba.
Yeah. Take it. There's about 4 pictures.
Now is it Merritt Gelding? Gorgeous.
He's on at Shelley's. It won't be on at Shelley's place.
Oh, wow. Hi, John.
Well, I'm worried about you.
You're worried about me. He is beautiful. So fun.
Well, no, the picture that got in New York yesterday, and you'll be in Indiana Saturday. Remember I told you about